That's how we do. Sit back, relax, and have a puff or two. Cause all we really trying to do is get high with you.
Activism begins with ACT. The Russ Belville Show features the stories of hardworking grassroots activists working for an end to prohibition in today's activist agenda.
Welcome back, everybody. Just about half past the hour, and we're going through the telephone waves and the Skype and all of those technological marvels all the way across the pond to England. We have got Greg Hoedt on the line. How you doing, Greg?
How's it going, Russ? I'm not too bad.
People may also know you as Cannabis Cure UK on the Twitter and the Facebook and throughout all of the intersphere, so get that out of the way. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm sorry I dip in and out of reach every now and then, but you know how it is.
Oh, you're a busy guy.
Greenwich Mean Time.
Yes, absolutely. It's like 11:30 your time, so we always appreciate when you come on and join us. There's just so many stories that have come across the news desk, even over here on the West Coast, that I wanted to ask you about. I know the big one that caught my attention was this poll that just came out saying, what was it, like over half of Britons favored at least doing something different with the drug policy?
Yep, over 53% of the public support change the current drug policy. That they don't see it's working, but David Cameron keeps enforcing the idea that Britain's drug policy is working, but there's not much evidence to support that yet. He won't even read the evidence to say that it isn't working. He even admits that.
Admits that he won't read any of the research.
Yeah, he said, right, I'll read it later. I'll tell you what I'm going to say now.
Wow, that's pretty that's pretty sad. All right, well, now how does that break down demographically? I mean, do you get the youth supporting this more than the older people? I imagine.
I think it is. I think we haven't had it like it's too easy, but we haven't had it super hard. And I think this generation, like my age and a little bit younger, they're coming through, and it is a little bit more socially acceptable because it's been in the magazines, it's been on TV, it's in the films a lot more. I'm looking at some of the films that I was watching 10 years ago, not really realising how many like pot references there were in it. Yeah. So it has been normalised quite a lot more than I think people realise. And once this generation gets to say, well, in about 10 years, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more sort of the progress that we've seen over there in America, and I think it will be sort of my generation that are going to sort of pull it through and pick it up to that kind of speed, because we're jealous. We want what you guys have got over there in certain states.
Absolutely, and we want to get it to you. One of the difficulties is, of course, the politicians are always behind the people on this. So while you got 53% of the public that are supporting these changes to drug policy, what do the MPs, what does Parliament think about this?
Over 50% of Conservatives support it. I think it's over 75% of MPs overall, which are members of Parliament, support a change to the government's current policy. So it's not like there isn't an overwhelming like crowd and evidence. It's like we've even got, I can't remember who it is, but it's not like the British Medical Association, but there's like certain departments that are starting to say, yeah, but cannabis is starting to come into the mainstream with as a medical option. We need to start putting more research into it. I think it's come up in one of the top 5 new possible treatments for cancer research in the UK recently.
That's fantastic. Now, looking at the public now, there's one of the things that I see from time to time. I have Google News searches, right? So whenever the word marijuana appears, I find what those stories are and I bring them out on the news. But I also have a Google News search for cannabis, which is always fun because that brings me the UK and the Australian and the Indian and other countries that actually call it cannabis. It brings me your news headlines. And what was this? I saw something about a suicide over like, what was it? A small, tiny amount of cannabis.
Yeah, a 17-year-old boy killed himself over 50p worth of cannabis. He got caught smoking down in Newquay, which is in Cornwall, down on the southwest. It's a popular surfing spot in the UK. Weed in a surfing spot? Are you joking me? But he's been caught. It was his second time. This happened back in 2011. But because it was his second time, we have a system over here where it's like your first one you get a warning, second time you get you get a fine, and third time you go to court. They filed the paperwork incorrectly. He was only 17. It should have been filed dealt with completely differently. They dealt with him as an adult, and they put it in the wrong file, so it sent him to court. He had prospects of wanting to go to America, where obviously if you've got any kind of drug record or conviction, you're not going to be able to be let in, or the chances are a lot slimmer. The poor guy he wanted to go and do a year's worth of lacrosse training in America, and he didn't think he'd be able to do that. He thought it'd be a disappointment, and he ended up committing suicide. And it's just in the inquiry, the police errors haven't even been blamed for it yet. He was near his body. He was found with the court summons and a letter. So.
Wow, that is such a sad story, and there's no need for that. You bring up a good point, though, that a lot of people don't think about, is getting that drug conviction on your record and how that affects your international travel rights. Especially at the age of 17. I mean, like, even if he had been doing something bad, I mean, 50p's worth of cannabis, it's a tragedy. And even if someone is doing bad at 17, like at 27, they might want to go to America, and they might be been stopped because they made a wrong decision or did something in their past that someone was disagreed with. Yeah, that's just sad. And there's another story that's pretty sad that I wanted to talk to you about, because it kind of illustrates one of the harms of prohibition. I just sent you the headline. It was from Manchester Evening News. Horror death of Hoedt mum who drank cannabis fertilizer from a Sprite bottle. And the basic story of this is that there was this 23-year-old young woman named Sarah who was staying at a boyfriend's place, and he had a cannabis factory going. He was growing plants in his house. And she grabbed a Sprite bottle that had some sort of fertilizer or something for the plants. It is very, very high alkaline, right? But when asked by the doctors what had gone on, she had to lie. She lied and said it was some sort of fish fertilizer, fish food or something. And so they're treating her for something that wasn't true, and the effect here is that, had it been legal, she could have said what it was that she drank, but she felt she had to lie about it to protect her boyfriend. She ended up dying this week. It's just terrible.
Yeah, and exactly. It's a highlight of the harm of prohibition. I mean, these people do accidentally drink fertilizers and oils. I remember a story. My mum telling me one of her friends died when she was at school. She went in the shed and she just drank something out of a Coke bottle, and or just some kind of drinks bottle, and it was something that her dad had put in there, not labelled up, and she ended up dying. These things happen. We can't just highlight this has obviously been highlighted because it's cannabis. We had another one, a little boy, I think, drank some pH up or down, that was being used for a cannabis grow. They are absolutely tragic, and they are things that can be prevented. But like you say, this one could have been prevented a lot easier had they actually been able to treat her properly, because she would have been able to tell the truth. Like having to hide the fact just because it's cannabis would have, they've got in trouble anyway, haven't they? And they've lost her.
Well, yeah, there's all sorts of charges pending on this case, and I'll update it if I get any new updates on it. Now, before we run out of time, I want to make sure that we cover what's going on with you, because you've been so busy appearing with the Cannabis Social Club and NORML UK. So what's this about you being out at some debate?
Yeah, this one. Back to the Skunk. I spoke at a debate in London. I Am Hip Hop magazine. They did Skunk, healing or oppressing the communities. And I had to handle some quite large reefer madness, and you wouldn't think, like in ethnic and minority communities, and even the Jamaican and West Indian community, they think that skunk is genetically modified, and they even went as far as saying that it has been put in their communities by the white imperial power structure to oppress the black community. And we were like, really? It was strange, because they actually believe skunk is genetically modified and that it's been put there as a tool of oppression, like soldiers were doped up during Vietnam to stop them fighting, to pacify them as such.
God, it's frustrating because they use the terms they use. They can use them in a slippery way. They can say that a certain cannabis is genetically modified. Well, because it's been bred, right? I mean, it's no more genetically modified than a pug, right?
But
It's
they were saying, like, one of them, they said, well, you can't cook with skunk, but you can cook with weed. And I was just like, well, I cook with skunk every night. Like, I have, I eat it for my condition. Like, It's good for my gut. But I was like, there's not much point with cooking with weed because it doesn't do the same job. Like, they have to, like, my friend Ramon, he's a smart guy. He's a really good hash maker as well. Ganja John will vouch for that. But he pointed out, even though, like, the weaker weed that we smoke, that was genetics that were selected thousands of years ago and protected land races. Like, they were a certain strength. Now, yeah, we might be slightly stronger, and they might have selected certain strains that get you slightly stronger, and those communities might not be as used to it because they're not, they can't tolerate it. Their endocannabinoid systems might react a little bit too. It might react too strongly for their endocannabinoid system. I don't know. I'm not the scientist, but whatever it is, that it's a lot. Skunk or high grade is a lot stronger for them than weed, and it's caused a stir in the community. I raised the point that, like, Snoop Dogg and Be Real and all that, they're smoking the dank, and they don't really seem that oppressed.
Good point. Now, I'm sure you're doing a whole bunch of other stuff appearing. Give us the rundown. Where are we going to be able to find you if we got some listeners in the UK that are paying attention?
I think I'm going to be the Milton Keynes meeting on the 9th. We're going to have a Cannabis Social Club meeting there. So if you get on the UK CSC on Facebook, there'll be links on there to how to get to that. I can't quite remember the name of the venue. Tomorrow I'm going to be up in Liverpool on BBC Three's Free Speech. It's going to be on TV at 8 o'clock. They're addressing the issue, addiction. Is it a criminal or is it a medical issue? So I'm looking forward to that one. They've put me down as a key guest, so hopefully we'll get my say.
Very good. Dabbing in Beatles land, huh?
Yeah, totally. We're all looking forward to that. And then, of course, I mentioned the NORML conference. It's the NORML UK's first conference and AGM in March on the 18th and 19th, and that's the Malcolm X birthday weekend, and we are actually having it at Malcolm X Community Centre in Bristol. So it's going to be a good one, and reaching out to more communities as well.
What are some of the panels and events you'll have for that, or is that too soon? You're still building it?
We are actually having Howard Marks, Mr. Nice, is going to be giving on one of the he's given a talk. I can't remember how the word to say now.
Presentation.
He's given a presentation. That's it. And then he's also doing a performance one evening as well. So, like, included in your ticket price, you get to go and see Mr. Nice, Howard Marks, on stage doing a special show specifically for NORML, which is, you can't really get much better than that for your first AGM and conference, can you?
No, you can't. That sounds great.
We've also got an ex-MI5 agent, Annie Mashon. She's going to be speaking there as well about, like, obviously the harms of prohibition. She's obviously seen it from right down on the inside.
Very good. May I recommend Professor Stevens there from University of Kent?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've managed to confirm him yet, but he's definitely been down on our list and contacted.
Excellent. That sounds so great. And again, keep us informed on what's happening with that. We'll promote it as best we can.
All right, thanks very much, Russ. You're a massive inspiration to everything I've been doing, and I keep you in mind when I'm on there on those panels trying to keep a cool head.
Well, I don't always succeed either. Thanks so much, man. You have a good time, and good luck with your conference.
Thanks very much. Peace out, guys. Bye.
We'll be